Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Before we begin, we would like to take time to acknowledge and honor the land we are on, which is on Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Ute land. And yeah, so we are Colorado Circles for Change. Here, our mission is to create a pathway for our youth to discover sacred relationships with self, family, and community, while also working to reduce juvenile violence and incarceration so youth can reach their full potential. These Platicas de Libertad are part of our Youth Justice Apprenticeship Program. And in this program, we work to center youth most impacted by inequities rooted in white supremacy, specifically interpersonal and institutional racism, including the cradle to prison pipeline and mass incarceration. Through these platicas, we aim to dismantle racism, heal the people, and guide the youth. And to that end, today, 3 out of our 4 youth justice apprentices will be sharing their stories and visions towards healing and liberation. And before we dive into our questions, we would like to start off with conocimiento. So for our conocimiento, we will be sharing our full name and then also our maternal lineage here. And so I will start us off. So my full name is Ashley Maria Villa Ortega, and my mother's name is Denise Eugenia Ortega, and her mother's name, so my grandmother's name is Elvira Pastrana. And yes, that's my conocimiento, su palabra. I will pass on the palabra to Lacey.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lacey Linnell Wynn. My mother's name is Dion Linnell Wynn, and my grandmother's name is Phyllis Jean Wynn. And I pass this to Maya.
Thank you. My name is Maya Padilla. My maternal lineage is, so my mom's name is Nikki White, and then my grandmother's name is Teresa Hanway, and they're both from the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming. And I'll pass it to Arturo.
Hi, everybody. My name is Arturo Villa. My mother's name is Denise Eugenia Ortega, and then my grandmother's name is Elvira Pastrana. If you couldn't tell, me and Ashley are brother and sister as well. So.
Thank you, everyone. Palabra. So we'll just dive right into our questions for today for the youth. So as I mentioned, today these 3 youth will be sharing their stories and visions towards healing and liberation, and that looks different for each of them. But we're here to center their experiences and hear about what their visions are for all of us for the future. So to that end, we'll start with our first question of what from your past has informed your journey? And I will pass this over to Maya to answer this.
Thank you, Ashley. For me, I feel like that's a little bit of a complex question. I feel like a lot of it has to do with just past traumatic experiences, but also the way I grew up, like I was raised like within my community and like really close to like our traditional ways and stuff. And I feel like that like really has an impact on like not only my identity, but just the way that like I go through my life. But probably the main thing that's really informed my journey is the turning point was realizing that I was a survivor of abuse, and I was falling behind in school, and I didn't want to go into a deeper like badder state of mind. So that was my turning point, and yeah, that's pretty much what impacted me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. I'll pass it over to Lacey. So what has informed, what from your past has informed your journey, Lacey?
So I moved out to Denver when I was 11 years old. And before I moved, I lived in Chicago, like near that area, like East Chicago. And I think seeing the different demographics and how education and opportunities were played a big role in how I felt like treated and how I felt like living here in Denver. And I think that's when I started feeling like something needs to change. Like there should be like equal representation when it comes to resources and education and the way people are seen are treated. And I noticed like moving out to Denver, one of the reasons why I did that was like to help some relatives, like me and my family. And it's because they didn't have a lot of resources. And I noticed that like back where I used to live, there wasn't a lot of resources, or at least not as much as there is out here in Denver. And there's a lot less opportunities. I mean, more opportunities here, sorry. Like when it comes to like different certain things. So I think just like helping my community and helping my family has really impacted my opinion on like anti-racism and justice and actual equality regarding resources.
Thank you, Lacey. And now we'll shift it over to Arturo. So Arturo, what from your past has informed your journey?
Well, for me, I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado, so this is all I've basically known. And for me, what's informed me most about uh, my journey is through education. I've realized that education is very unequal throughout every demographic, and um, and I've seen this from pre-K, kindergarten, all the way through college as well. So that's what's informed me about my journey and where I want to be in the future.
Awesome. Well, and to what you just said, Arturo. So, what does your journey look like today, for all of you? Now that we know what from your past has informed it, what does it look like today? And I'll pass this over to Lacey.
So today my journey looks like me working with organizations such as CCFC and like being a part of certain extracurriculars and clubs that regard like my opinions and what I stand for. And also just continuing my own education by going to college and like trying to pursue my bachelor's degree and like kind of start my life, get my career started. I intend on being a defense lawyer when I'm older, so I can help those in my community. But I specifically want to focus on those who have been wrongfully convicted and those who are imprisoned for unjust reasons or under unjust charges.
Thank you, Arturo.
For me, my journey is about, like I said, education. I just recently graduated from college from the University of Denver. So for me, I want to help um, form education reform and provide opportunities for everybody and who's looking for help.
Thank you, Maya.
For me, I just really want to like follow my passion of helping communities of color and people who are just like me, you know. So yeah.
Awesome. So for our next question, I'd like to know, how are you living your sacred purpose? And after that, where are you spiritually? And Maya, would you like to start us off with this?
Yeah. So I've thought a lot about this, and I've come to the conclusion that like I genuinely feel like my like reason for being here is just to help other people, and just give back to like, you know, my community, my people, like whatever, like in whatever ways I can. And how I'm trying to live that up is just by putting in more effort for one, the people around me, and really just trying to give back to my community in whatever ways I can, whether it's through like, you know, like work, personal life, just whatever way. and where I am spiritually, so like I feel for me, like I was raised like pretty spiritually and traditionally, being Native American, and throughout this past year I've kind of strayed away from that, but then like over the coming months I finally like found my way back, and I started going to ceremonies and started praying more again, and today I feel more connected to my spirituality than I have before. So
Thank you. And Arturo, how are you living your sacred purpose, and where are you spiritually?
For me specifically, my sacred journey is to help everyone, like Maya said, um, but specifically the future, and mainly when I say the future, I mean youth, because I really want to work with youth, and I want to, because they're our future, and mainly minorities as well, who, of course, as we know, statistically, we don't get the equal opportunities in many different aspects. Spiritually, I am raised mainly in traditions. Um, I do live based on those traditions, but at the same time, I believe those traditions can be reformed and shaped differently for modern society as well, because our other traditions um, are kind of in the past, and we need to look towards the future mainly. That's my perspective.
And Lacey?
So my sacred purpose, I feel, is to empower others. I feel like I've been very blessed in my life to be where I am and be who I am right now. And I feel like giving back and empowering others to realize that they are blessed and that they can do many things with their talents and their gifts, whether they know it yet or not, is very important. Whether it's like through a pep talk with friends or just like going to work here at the organization, or like through the poems I write and through my own way of expressing my emotions, I feel like empowering others is very key to like success, because the world is always changing and that can be pretty hectic. We're always trying to adapt. We're always trying to like live, but a lot of people aren't like living to like thrive. They're not thriving. So for my spirituality, I feel that I'm at peace with myself. And I also feel like God put me on this earth to like help others feel at peace too. So I think that there's always a chance for like the problems we see today, like regarding racism and injustice, they can be eliminated. Maybe it'll take a long time. Realistically, it won't like be like immediately, but I feel like through like peace and just like our own spirituality, we can like accomplish that.
Thank you. So for our next question, I'd like to know, where do you all see your journey going in the next 3 years? And let's hear from Arturo first.
Um, for me, in the next 3 years, I really see myself again working with youth, because I'm fresh out the education system, and I really don't know what I want to do specifically. But I know my passion is again mainly towards the youth, and I see myself being involved in schools, education, and pushing. And my thing is pushing for better mental health for youth as well, because it's a hard time that they're going through as well.
So, Lacey?
So in the next 3 years, I see myself getting ready to graduate from college and like getting really close to getting my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And I hope by the end of those 3 years, I'm preparing to graduate and make a life for myself. And whether it be a lawyer or any other thing, because I never know, maybe I might want to change it to something else to help benefit my community, like a psychiatrist. So continuing to empower others and just getting ready, like to empower myself and encourage myself to go out there and live. is what I'm looking forward to during the next 3 years.
Awesome, thank you. And Maya?
In 3 years, I see myself, going to school, getting my bachelor's degree. I haven't yet decided exactly what I want to major in yet, but honestly, like my main priority is just to learn more. I wanna learn so much more than what I know right now, whether that be through activism, through, like what I'm doing with CCFC, or just like personal efforts. I just want to grow as an individual.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think part of that growth includes healing, right? And so that leads me to my next question is, what does healing look like to you all? And we could start off with Lacey here.
So to me, healing looks like starting at the root of a problem or a mindset that needs to change. Finding out the how and the why behind the way a person thinks or how they feel. I've always been really interested in that, like whether it's like racism or if somebody is really upset, but I can't really figure out why. I'll be like, what's going on through their mind? So when it comes to like those who are racist or against what we work for, knowing and how and why they think that way and do the things that they do can help me like understand on a deeper level how we can address their opinions and their points of view, as well as how possibly to change those points of view into something more positive for them and for like the people they're hurting. So helping them like lean into that discomfort and finding a healthier mindset can play a big impact on like how we heal and how we can help others heal.
Awesome, thank you. Maya?
Yeah. To me, healing looks like just revisiting your past traumas and like really accepting that part of yourself, like both the good and the bad. And like personally, like what's helped me a lot is like one, like art. I find writing really helpful. Therapy, and honestly, like just through my indigenous ways, like that's really like what healing looks like to me, not only through personal traumas, but generational trauma, which everybody's experiencing. And yeah.
Thank you. Arturo?
So my topic talks about what Lacey and Maya talked about, but I really like what Lacey said about finding the root of the problem. And for me, it's for to heal, we need to look at the problem, acknowledge the problem, and change it for the positive. And it's also exchanging that word problem with the past as well, and looking more towards the future. And that's what I feel like healing could um, look like in our terms.
And a similar question. So we know what healing looks like to each of you. What does liberation look like for each of you? And here we could start off with Maya.
I'm really big on dismantling white supremacy. And to me, like that looks like one, like no more killings of people of color, and you have to go into every community impacted and provide them with healthcare, mental health services, abolishing prisons, like et cetera, et cetera. And I think the start of like I guess the root of all that is capitalism. But
Awesome, thank you. Arturo?
Building off of what Maya was talking about, for me, it's mainly like no cages whatsoever, dismantling white supremacy as well, and also offering treatment instead of conflict. So offering treatment, which is a huge thing for me, is mental health. We usually tend to throw people in cages instead of looking for possible solution to help them in the long run. So we just throw them in cages and look for the temporary solution. And offering those treatment help could help with that as well.
Awesome. And Lacey?
I agree with Maya and Arturo, and I want to add on by saying, like, I can imagine a place where there's no hierarchies or no classes, where there's actual equality. Like, you can be wealthy, like, you can work hard and, like, get your money, right? But, like, you don't need to, like, make a whole different separate class, like low income, middle income. And then you have all these crabs in a bucket trying to reach to the top. That's, like, really impossible. So I just imagine having, like, freedoms that, like, illustrate no hierarchy and, like, class solidarity, and having, like, maybe no classes, just, like, having people, like, be who they are without, like, having it put on a chart and having you, like, as a standard, like, you're low so you don't get this, or you're not good enough, or you're high so you get this and you're good enough. Like, there should be none of that. We are all human beings. We should all be treated as human beings, whether we have $1 million or 1 cent. So, like, that's one thing that I see.
Yeah, those are all really good points, and that there's a lot of systemic changes, right, that has to happen for us to really reach true liberation. And I think it's really beautiful what each of you are sharing about your visions for how we could get there, or things that we need to address in order to get there. So thank you all for sharing. So I will go into our kind of last questions before we go into our consejos and our closing ceremony. But so what motivates each of you to be leaders? I'll start off with that first. And we'll go to Arturo.
For me, what motivates me to be a leader is honestly my skin color. And what I mean by this is showing that I am a minority. I am a male in a white, sorry, I'm a Hispanic male in the white world. And going against the grain of what others should think I should act, and doing what I want to do. Um, and that to me is what motivates me to be a leader, is my skin color.
Thank you. Lacey?
So I'm still working on my own leadership skills, and I feel like I've grown, but I can always get better and grow. But if there's one thing I learned a long time ago, is that silence toward injustice, or silence period, is just as bad or almost as bad as the injustice itself. So when it comes to things that I'm motivated by, I'm motivated to lead if it means, like, standing up for something that I believe in, something that I know is right, not just think is right. That's, like, enough motivation to stand up and say something.
Thank you. And Maya?
I'd say what motivates me to be a leader is, honestly, it's something I've just always been passionate about. Like, I see everywhere, like, what happens, like, not even just with this country, but just, like, all over the world. And I don't know, like, something inside me just can't sit and just watch it happen, like I just feel the need to do something about it. And yeah.
Yeah, I think part of that, all of what you said is beautiful, and it ties in together of, like, our identities really shape our leadership desires and abilities, right? So we see these injustices that we want to correct, and also being who we are just inherently, it gives us this motivation, I guess, to want to stand up for our community members who look like us, and also our any injustices that we see happening. So I really like what you all said with that. So I would like us to now go into our consejos. So to that end, now that you all talked about what motivates each of you to be leaders, I'd like to know what consejos you have to other leaders. So just what do you have to say to other leaders right now who may be watching or who may be also wanting to join this work of dismantling any inequities that are rooted in white supremacy, in white violence, capitalism, all of that. What advice do you or consejos do you have to those other leaders? And we'll start off with Maya.
Honestly, there's two things. One, like whatever like that passion is, like don't ever let anybody try to silence you. But also like take care of yourself first and what your needs are, because one thing I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that you can't take care of anybody else if you're not taking care of yourself first.
Thank you. That's really important, especially in this work that we're doing. We want to center healing, but not just for others, for ourselves too, because that's where it all starts with us. So Arturo?
For me, it's to not be afraid to be different, basically. Everybody tends to be a sheep and follow others and fright of not in fright of being different and standing out. And I want to let you guys know that it is okay to stand out. Being different is what people are looking for, and right now, that's what to me, that's what it is to be a leader.
Yeah, like we need to be able to embrace ourselves and what we have to offer, because it's all unique and it's all really valuable. So thank you. Lacey?
To the other leaders, like everywhere, I just want to say that if you truly, truly believe in what you do and you truly believe and know that the work that you're doing is right, like to the bottom of your heart, then you need to make sure that you keep that flame inside of you. You need to know that you're loved and that you're mattered and that everybody is human and that we all make mistakes and that nothing is perfect. And remember that the little things in life are just as important as the big things, and perhaps maybe more important down the line. So always make sure to be aware of like your blessings, whether they are big or small, and not take the people that you have supporting you for granted or feel like you're doing it on your own, because everybody's going through a hard struggle. But we can all get through that struggle and make the most of it and like see the light in it if you just keep persevering.
Thank you. That was really beautiful. I really like that message of sometimes this work gets really difficult, right? It gets really heavy to take on, but making sure, like you said, that we keep that light burning within ourselves is just really, really important. So thank you all for sharing that. Before we close, I'd like to pass it on to Maya to close us out today.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for asking me to do this. I'm going to sing a song. This is a Rwandan song, but I think it has a good message. Oh, way high, oh, way high, oh, way down, way high, oh, hey, way, oh, way high, oh, hey, oh, hey, way, oh, way high, oh, hey, way high, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. Sunshine shining down on me. I cherished every sunrise I see, and before I pray my soul, my Lord, to keep one more sunrise that I'll see. Hey, oh, hey, da, hey, oh, hey. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. So, and thank you all of you for sharing your stories and your visions with us today. I hope that everybody watching was able to really take in these different experiences that we have amongst our youth justice apprentices, and really make sure that that is informing a lot of the work that you do. I think oftentimes, as we've discussed before, youth are ignored or pushed to the side and not valued for the knowledge that they have. And so I really hope that everybody watching is able to hear what each of our youth said today, and really make sure to center those perspectives as you're doing this work, because ultimately the youth are who will lead us to the change that we need. And these are just three of our four youth justice apprentices. Unfortunately, one of our youth was not able to join us today, but hopefully we will be able to hear his story and his vision towards healing and liberation sometime soon, and be able to share that with you all. But in the meantime, I do want to give an update of our next Platica. So again, we host these Platicas de Libertad, these talks of liberties, on the last Thursday of every month. And so next month for April, we're really excited to be working with Black Lives Matter 5280. We'll be having them join us. And we will be discussing what does it mean to stand for Black lives, and also what does Black and Brown solidarity look like. So that's what you all can expect for our Platica for April. I believe that is the 29th of April. And so, yes, it is the 29th of April. So please join us then for that important Platica. All of our Platicas are really rooted in making sure that we're able to dismantle racism, heal the people, and guide the youth. And that's what we hope to do in each of these discussions. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Lacey, Arturo, and Maya, for sharing your experiences and being here with us today. We value each of you here. I know I really value each of you. And so thank you for taking the time to share that with everybody. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. So thank you, everyone.